You need to have the hard conversations. You are the family. But to actually facilitate them and to know how to walk through this is very difficult for family member to family member. And the
Hmm.
number one reason is because you have a primary relationship. And that primary relationship usurps everything else.
Yeah.
In most situations, mom and dad still stay mom and dad, and you're still the child. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
You're not going to tell me what to do. You're not in my head. You're not here every day. You bounce in 4 times a year to see us, and you think you know what's going on with us.
Yeah.
Why would you even consider having somebody like me come into this equation? First of all, it doesn't cost you anything. But the primary reason is keep your primary relationship.
Hmm.
Let the agent be the one who has these hard conversations. We're the professional, we are the expert. You are not. You might
Yeah.
be a nurse, you might be an occupational therapist, you might be a police person, you
Yeah.
might be an EMT, but you are not the expert.
Welcome to the Answers for Elders radio show.
And welcome back to part 2 of our special series on Are You Prepared or Are You in Denial about taking care of a loved one? And we are here with Daphne Davis, the CEO and founder of Pinnacle Senior Placements. And Daphne, welcome back to the show. And we are talking about your role as an adult child or a spouse or a caring friend. Um, you know, Anybody, if it's somebody that you love and you care about, um, we're talking to you. And I think it's important that we bring that up. If we're talking about mom or dad, replace it with friend or spouse or whatever that is, or significant other, etc. So Daphne, we had talked a little bit in our last segment about having conversations. I think you being a referral agent, number one, most people don't even know what you do. They don't
Mm-mm.
understand it. They think maybe that you have, that they have to pay for your services, that they might need. There's all kinds of things. So I guess my question is, where do you fit into the picture at this point?
So, Daphne and Pinnacle Senior Placements, and we are located in the state of Washington. We fit in the place of helping you gather information. We call ourselves an information post. We are never decision makers. In the whole United States, there's a whole plethora of people just like me who help you gather the information that's pertinent to your state. And,
Hmm.
and in doing that, some states have laws that regulate what we call placement and referral agents.
Hmm.
And those laws need to be upheld as written for each state.
Hmm.
We are like a conduit between you, the consumer, and the people who provide housing and care. And
Hmm.
we're the people who know what's going on in this housing and care industry.
Right.
And we find out about you, the consumer, the unique consumer, of
Hmm.
what are your highest values, what works for you in this housing and care community. Now,
Hmm.
some of the logistical pieces that work, and I'm going to say for an agent who has your best interest at heart, will meet with you.
Right.
There are some situations that, because we're so mobile, that we hold Zoom meetings because some of the siblings or the decision makers might be out of state from where
Right.
the people live.
Right.
So we do some Zoom meetings with the whole family,
Mhm.
but usually we try very hard to meet one and one. And in doing and choosing to work with a placement or referral agent, there's no expense to you, the consumer. The expense is to the community of care.
Right.
That's because we work off of their marketing budget.
Hmm.
We are an extension of their community. That doesn't mean we have exclusivity to recommending to
Yeah.
5 to 10 places. No, a good agent should be working with all communities of care in the state of Washington.
Hmm.
And based on your highest values, be able to have all of those communities of care as an option for you. At the same time, we function as kind of a clearinghouse or a person who's doing your vetting.
Hmm.
I personally feel after 25 years of doing this job that there's no way for any consumer to know the real nuts and bolts of a community of care. It's
Right.
impossible for me to know everything about every community
True.
because there's so many new ones. Um, it's no secret that we're aging in our country, so
No
we need
secret for
more
sure.
care. But it is my responsibility to do due diligence and to not have you have to learn an
Mhm.
industry that you haven't more than likely crossed into before.
Yeah.
And so I become your eyes and ears. I become the person that has listened to, through conversation, your family's highest values,
Hmm.
as well as thinking about location. Some people say, you know what? I live in Washington State, but I really would like to go back to Nebraska and live with my family again. My
Hmm.
sisters are still there. So then we have this network of people that we can refer to nationwide with a
Hmm.
good agent, with an
Hmm.
agent who is doing their
Yeah.
job well. We'll have that network
Yeah.
of agencies to work with.
Yeah. And Daphne, what you're saying is so important because there are 800 number services out there that
Mhm.
say that they do the same thing you do. They don't.
They
And
don't.
as a matter of fact, in many cases, I would say I would venture to say in most cases, they don't do right by the family. And so it's my hope that we educate the consumers here and say, you know, find someone that's on the network and we will make sure that that link is in the show notes of the YouTube video as well as all the information on your page on your landing page on Answers for Elders so that we make sure that people can know how to find a good referral agent in their area. And you talk about a good referral agent. You guys also have a code of ethics, which I
Yes.
think is so valuable, which by the way, these 800 call numbers don't have. So fill me in on a little bit about why that is so important. I mentioned it, but I think it's important that you talk
Yeah,
about.
it's an important piece for a couple of reasons. One, there should be no conflict of interest
No.
between the agent that you're working with and the communities of housing and care that are being introduced to you, or a conflict of interest of any investments any place. I mean, that's just one of the code of ethics. Um, there are, oh, like 7 to 10, I'm going to forget the exact number of things that are bulleted. In the state of Washington, we have a RCW 18.330 that is written specifically for my industry. Most states have it.
Hmm.
Um, I'm going a little bit into our next segment, but there are so many resources to be able to have kind of a clearinghouse
Hmm.
of good agents. I want to, the best practices and ethics is important so that you know, bottom line, here it is, so that
Hmm.
you know that they have your loved one's best interest
Right.
at heart.
Yeah.
That's the bottom
And
line.
that's the piece when you think about how many siblings are all on different pages. And
And
how
this
do you determine who's and who should do what and who really is where the right solution should come from. When you say there should be no conflict of interest, that should be with the family as well because you
absolutely.
become kind of the advocate for that senior that says, "Hey, wait a minute, that's an interesting idea, but somebody that basically is like provides the resources, provides the options, but at the same token, I mean, you get to stay the daughter, you get to stay the son. Let the hard stuff happen through somebody like Daphne.
So coming off of our first segment in terms of why would you want to have these hard conversations?
Hmm.
And you need to. I'm not going to,
Yeah.
diminish that at all. You need to have the hard conversations. You are the family. But to actually facilitate them and to know how to walk through this is very difficult for family member to family member. And the
Hmm.
number one reason is because you have a primary relationship. And that primary relationship usurps everything else.
Yeah.
In most situations, mom and dad still stay mom and dad, and you're still the child. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
You're not going to tell me what to do. You're not in my head. You're not here every day. You bounce in 4 times a year to see us, and you think you know what's going on with us.
Yeah.
Can any of you hear that? I mean, it's almost like I can anticipate that that's one of the hurdles. And
Mhm.
so our question at the end of our last sentence was, why would you even consider having somebody like me come into this equation? We've already covered, first of all, it doesn't cost you anything. And so that's out of the realm of
Right.
possibilities of a reason not to, in my mind anyway. But the primary reason is like Suzanne just said, keep your primary relationship.
Hmm.
Let the agent be the one who has these hard conversations. We're the professional, we are the expert. You are not. You might
Yeah.
be a nurse, you might be an occupational therapist, you might be a police person, you
Yeah.
might be an EMT, but you are not the expert.
Yeah.
Not
Well, and
after your loved one.
speaking of expert, how often do we not even realize that there's some warning signs that somebody that is not an expert may not know that mail is piling up like crazy in the corner and bills aren't getting paid, or maybe there's spoiled food in the refrigerator that you haven't seen for a long time, and that's not right. I mean, the thing is, you could probably go into someone's home and right away kind of guess what's going on just by
Absolutely.
the environment.
Absolutely. Yeah, you can see all kinds of signs as soon as you walk in. Just a quick story this morning. I met a new client this morning and I could read instantly in about 30 seconds kind of what was going on. And I knew that I wasn't going to be at that interviewing process or getting to know someone process for very long just because of how the first 3 sentences went.
Mhm.
And that was just on a verbal scale. But when I get the pleasure of being in someone's home, I get all kinds of cues. And you've named some of them: the mail, the food that's not eaten, the laundry that you can smell walking in the first door, in the front door. There's things that we just anticipate. I can see the boxes of Cheerios and, cornflakes and Rice Krispies sitting here, and I'm like, where's the protein? I
Yeah.
know that's what they're having for breakfast, but are they starting their day with any protein? Protein's huge, 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 huge. We got to have protein. We got to have REM sleep and we got to have protein. And then,
Or lack hydration.
yeah,
And there's so many things. Or are they furniture walking? If they stand up and they hang on to something of how they're rising out of a chair. Those are things that a trained professional will know about. And
yep,
obviously, so why there's no downside side to everyone. And certainly, Daphne, again, we have your contact information in the show notes, but I want to make sure that anybody that is listening to this podcast, you can reach you at pinnacleseniorplacements.com.
correct. And we do have an 855 number.
Yep.
It's 734 1500, and you can reach us at that number as well. And
Hmm.
and Suzanne, I'm not going to take over your job because you're really good at your job, but I look forward to talking about how we can help the whole nation in
That's
terms of
exactly right.
having someone like me. I'm in Washington. I know my Washington market, but there's a lot of people that know lots of markets.
Absolutely. And we're going to definitely put that information on your landing page as well as in the show notes of the series, so that no matter where you are in the USA, we've got you. We've got you covered. And we'll be right back right after this. Did you know that you can discover hundreds of podcasts in our library on senior care? So visit our website and discover our decision guides that will help you also navigate decision making. Find us at answersforelders.com.